Good morning, and thank you so much for joining our mid-year 2022 Utah Update webinar. I am Elizabeth Dapper, Managing Director of Client Services for Mountain and Desert Regions. Our Client Services teams proudly assist you with underwriting, due diligence, pre-development consulting, transitions, market intel, and all things new business and client partnership. Our agenda today will cover a Salt Lake City market update, a development trends update, and also will highlight a few of the revenue opportunities and asset enhancements that Greystar has vetted through and can provide additional information about if you'd like after our call today. Before we begin, I'd like to introduce you to Bill Prince, our city leader for Utah.
Well, good morning and good afternoon for some. Thank you for joining our call today. My name is Bill Prince. I am the Utah City Leader for the Greystar portfolio. I came from most recently 5 years ago, over the last 5 years, in a portfolio of about $1 billion portfolio out of the Pacific Northwest. And my wife got us back home here to Utah, and I'm really proud to be part of this team for the last 18 months, and really honored to be part of many of your portfolios here in Utah. I have a strong team of directors and regional managers and office staff. We have about 33 of us that are officed here in the Salt Lake area. Our office is based in the industry building in the Granary District, and so we welcome anyone to come visit us here as well. We continue to be in the people business, and we're going to talk a lot about the market and the updates with the market, but really people continue to be our primary focus, not just from the staffing and the issues that we see across the country, but also here in Utah. And we are committed to having the happiest, most effective, and nimblest team that we can provide you the best service. We are so grateful for your partnerships, and we do not take for granted the trust you have placed in us, and we embrace our responsibility to deliver the best in the market results for you and your portfolio. And so welcome to this call. We're really grateful to share many of these statistics, but thank you again for your partnership. Ben, why don't I turn it over to you?
Awesome. Thank you for the introduction, Bill, and good morning, everyone listening in. We've got a lot of great data and content to cover today, so please stick around. For any questions that do not get answered during the live Q&A, we will follow up after the presentation. A short introduction before we move into the agenda. I have the pleasure of working alongside the Client Services Division within Greystar, focusing on new business and market research. My goal with the following slides is to provide metrics that allow for you to make informed investment decisions in Utah. Let's get started. First, we will do a high-level overview of Greystar's current Utah portfolio and some statistics. From there, we will begin diving into the key performance indicators: occupancy, traffic and leasing, rents, pipeline and absorption, and finally, demographics. Let's begin. The map you see here is a depiction of our presence in Utah. We have properties as far north as Ogden and as far south as the St. George market. Currently, this 100% third-party managed portfolio represents 85 properties across 17,000 units, with 39% of owners being repeat clients. The data we are covering today is a product of such a large presence, allowing us to have expert insights into the major trends we are seeing within this market, as well as provide guidance to you. Let's begin with occupancy. We're going to cover a multitude of data sources throughout this presentation, beginning with the Greystar stabilized same-store set of assets tracking back January 1st, 2021, as you can see in the graphic above. Looking back, the last 2 years, we have remained in a high occupancy zone between 95 and 97% for 18 of the last 20 months. We attribute the high occupancy to a historically strong net migration trend of 20,000 annually, with 2021 being the highest net migration figure since 2005. Now, the market is telling an identical story to that of the Greystar stabilized portfolio. The graphic depicted on the screen is sourced from RealPage and represents the major MSAs in Utah. This trend in high occupancy is the product of a highly desirable market with historically limited older supply. What's notable today is that we are beginning to see a softening from the record highs that came from the market boom of 2021. This is a theme we will cover throughout the majority of these key metrics. Greystar Utah is following the typical seasonality trends we are accustomed to. What's important to note is that net absorption has remained positive despite the slowdown in new leases and visits. With occupancy, renewals, and rent growth remaining high, visits and leases will remain relatively low in comparison to previous years. In general, lower leasing activity should only be of concern when the market is in a high vacancy and low rent growth environment, an environment not present today. The number of units offering concessions have remained lower than that of the concession levels through the pandemic, as prevalent in the graphic sourced from RealPage here. Not only is the share of units offering concessions low, but also the quantity of these concessions. As the new construction pipeline continues to deliver over the next several years, we expect concessions to increase as lease-up communities offer specials to increase velocity, and vice versa, stabilized communities acting to counter new product and competition. Everyone's favorite topic, let's talk rents. The housing shortage and steady single-family home price appreciation has contributed to the availability of apartment units in Utah. June data shows a median home sale price in Utah of $521,000. For comparison, the national median home sale price is $416,000. The rapid rise of mortgage rates has shrunk the pool of potential new buyers considerably. Nationally, new home sales have declined 17% as of August 2022 data. The combination of these trends has provided multifamily with low vacancy rates and unforeseen rent growth. With such a mass migration to Western markets and 2021 having the post-pandemic economic boost, rent growth on the Greystar Utah portfolio has remained strong over the last several quarters. We are starting to see a softening occur, as mentioned in the prior slide. But despite the recent softening, the Greystar portfolio has continued to dominate the market in Utah. This visual on the screen represents all Greystar managed lease-ups and stabilized properties versus the benchmark, being the aggregation of the MSAs. Looking back the last year, we have continued to push rates, and as of June 2022, we are sitting nearly 13% higher than the MSA benchmark. If you look back on the 12-month average, Greystar has averaged an 11% positive delta to the MSA benchmark, with not a single month being at or below the MSA. And you can see this positive linear trend unfold. And as the construction pipeline gets built out, our expectation is that rent per square foot will continue to climb. CoStar is projecting rent growth at 5% in 2023 for the Salt Lake market. Although well below the 10 to 16% rent growth during 2021 and the first half of 2022, 5% is still tracking higher than the normal pre-pandemic rent growth. Renting in Utah represents a discount of $1,200 a month versus owning a home. The top 3 factors for not owning a home drill down to insufficient funds for a down payment, low income, and lack of credit. Rising interest rates are impacting all for sale housing segments, but we know first-time buyers are the most sensitive to these rate hikes. Strong demand and low vacancy rates have pushed apartment rent growth to historic levels. An important topic of discussion, what is the state of the construction pipeline? Utah in recent years has seen an explosion of multifamily starts and completions. Over the period 2017 to the first half of this year, 31,000 units have been delivered across the different MSAs. Given the 5-year average of 6,200 units delivered per year, we are still in an undersupplied market as occupancy and rent growth have seen historic levels. Growth is only slated to continue, as Yardi Matrix is projecting north of 24,000 units within the next several years. As you can see in the graphic, total units under construction today are heaviest in the central business district of downtown, with 28% of the total units under construction being in this submarket. From here, we can see a construction pipeline in submarkets across Pleasant Grove, Ogden, Mill Creek, South Jordan, and Provo. The total units under construction and total units planned graphics are completely separate and do not overlap data. As you can see, the central business district continues to host the bulk of the planned units over the next several years, as reported by Yardi Matrix. The central business district accounts for 33% of planned units in Salt Lake, followed by the submarkets of Ogden, Central City, Draper, Lehigh, South Salt Lake. Development levels remain elevated with the bulk of projects in the downtown market. New construction is dominated by a mix of transit-oriented projects and mid-rise properties. Supply pressure in downtown has kept vacancies elevated slightly above the suburban average. The increasing presence of tech companies in the southern part of Utah and the metro, along with the expansion of the front runner and track system, is providing a boost to apartment development in the area. Ridership is up across the board, with public microtransit usage increasing 220% from the prior year. And today, 80% of Utahns have access to public transportation, and that number is only extending as stations deliver across Utah County. This chart shows historical deliveries and absorption. From Q4 2021 through the first half of 2022, we have seen absorption outpace deliveries. Overall, market vacancy currently sits at 6.1%, with stabilized vacancy at 4.1%. Projections show vacancy increasing 100 to 150 basis points as we head into 2023. Seeing absorption track this healthy gives us confidence in the rental bumps we are pursuing across the portfolio as the pipeline continues to deliver. Now, to wrap up this portion of the webinar, we will move to demographics. Our incredible marketing team is at the forefront of all this information I'm going to share. They all are great resources for our clients and teams, and I really wanted to plug them in here. Depicted in the following cluster maps are mobility trends to the different MSAs. First, we look at Salt Lake. As mentioned prior, we have seen very strong net migration trends over the last 7 years, with the net migration mark above 20,000 annually. As you can see in the visual, this continued trend in net migration is a product of in-migration from out-of-state gateway markets and natural migration within Utah. The Salt Lake MSA is pulling primarily from established gateway markets of California, Texas, and Florida. But as you can see, we also have a lot of natural migration in the state. In the Ogden-Clearfield MSA, we are seeing strong in-migration from California, Texas, and Colorado, with the repeat trend of natural migration within the state. And to no surprise, on a smaller scale, we are seeing similar trends unfold in the Provo-Orem MSA, with the top 3 being California, Idaho, and Colorado, and the obvious natural migration happening within the state. Despite the national headwinds of COVID and inflationary pressure, Utah continues to be an economic powerhouse. Over the past 5 years, Utah's GDP grew by an astonishing 19.1%, in large part to the labor force participation rate and positive job growth over the last several years. Latest unemployment data has Utah holding position in the top 2 states nationwide, tied with Nebraska at a 2% unemployment rate. Salt Lake continues to be an attractive market in terms of lifestyle and affordability. Utah is ranked the 5th highest median income in the nation, a product of the 122% increase in 6-figure income jobs over the period 2015 to 2020. In terms of the job market, Utah is ranked as the #1 job market by the Wall Street Journal, and it's no surprise. From 2001 to 2021, tech companies in Utah increased the share of private sector jobs they provided. The pace of growth has outpaced the tech industry's increase nationwide. For reference, nationwide we saw a 4.8% growth, and in Utah we saw 6.7% growth over that period of time. Emerging biotech firms are supplying 2.4% of all jobs in the state, with a disproportionately large earnings footprint at 3.6% of all worker earnings. The University of Utah has been leading the state in producing medical, science, engineering, and computer science degrees each year. This enormous talent pool is feeding into the biotech industry with firms such as BioFire, Myriad Genetics, Merit, and Merit Medical Systems. Utah is primed for growth, and we are continuing to see that in a multitude of factors. That is all I have for you today. I will pass the torch to Elizabeth Dapper to talk about design trends in our deck. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Ben. Such great information, and thank you for putting that together for us all. So as Ben said, I will be talking today about design trends that we're seeing and the data support for that, pre-development services and pipeline for us in Utah, and then Greystar recommended income enhancements. All right, so there's a lot on this slide, but let me break it down for you. So for those of you who don't know, Greystar has this incredible team, a national team that puts together an annual design deck, which is just phenomenal. It's pictures from the latest and greatest, new developments from across the globe, and taking a look at trends and what's hot, and really understanding what's not, but giving us some beautiful pictures that we're able to share with you, our clients, and also, our architects and builders. And this is helping our developer clients as well as our renovation clients as we continue to navigate all the changes that happen in our industry. So we also put together a national design survey. We partner with Kingsley, a third-party group that surveys our residents 60 days after move-in. Currently, we have over 750,000 units worldwide, and so we've been aggregating data since back in March of 2017. So you can imagine at this point the amount of robust information that we've been able to collect over this time. And really, at this point, we can slice and dice it, particularly for every client and every asset. So we can, say it's urban versus suburban, garden, mid-rise, high-rise. We can target your demographic income so that we can make sure that we're giving good recommendations. We're not trying to over-improve, but we're also ready to help you understand what is going to be worth the least amount of money, because our residents are also asked, what are they willing to pay for all of these things in the survey, what they like best about their apartment home, their apartment community. And so with that information, when we get to that inevitable value engineering meeting, we can take a look at the least value items and say, okay, maybe we can give up on those, but let's really try to keep those high dollar items for you. Again, whether it's new development or renovation. And so the other thing that's really great about being in Utah is that it's almost like having our own little version of a crystal ball, because we see the trends and they move in globally to the States and then coming in from the East and the West Coast. And so we're able to see those trends kind of move in over a 12 to 18 month period and really be able to give some great guidance to say, okay, for this asset, it's a mid-rise, it's going to be X number of units, here's the target demographic income, here's what's hot and getting hotter and greater value in dollar for rent premiums, and here's what's becoming less important and less value. So great information for our clients, and that's the kind of the graph that's really small on the bottom left there. We're able to give that to you, customized report by property. And then also, we're also able to give you a pre-development comprehensive package. So whether you're just starting out, taking a look at a piece of ground and trying to figure out your unit mix and you're 4 to 5 years out, we'd love to be involved. Or whether you're way down the road and you really want to get some good solid recommendations that like we just talked about, and you're much closer to delivering units, you let us know. We've developed a playbook which is comprehensive, which literally takes every single step in mind. It takes you through soup to nuts, every possible thing. The bottom right's an example, again, too small to read, but it's just an example of a maintenance shop. So if you have questions on what size should it be for this type of property and this number of units, or if you have a question about what's the workroom need to look like, how big does it need to be, how big should your fitness center be, how many elevators are we looking at. So we're able to help you with very detailed, comprehensive information for every property type, every location. So we have a dedicated team in Utah. They're incredible. So Logan helps us there for pre-dev, and Ben also, but we'll help you with your underwriting, detailed site plan and floor plan reviews, recommendations, experiential feedback, really that covers anything imaginable, and helping you with budgeting, guidance with comprehensive playbook, and really putting you in touch with the nationally vetted suppliers and partners that can help you with all the different things, smart home, EV car charging stations, which we'll talk about in a little bit. And then currently in Utah, we're fortunate to be working with over 40 properties in some level of pre-development with our pre-development services, and very proud to say that over 50% of these are repeat clients who have experienced that level of service and have come back for those recommendations on their next projects. So we appreciate that we have those referrals, and we'd love to grow with all of you. And that's all really based on the win-win-win success. Like, let's make this the very best possible asset that's going to get the highest rents and lease up the best, and everybody wins. All right, so let's get to what is hot. So we've all seen, especially the last couple of years, the hospitality influence on multifamily. It's seen everywhere from our lobbies, how you drive up. We definitely see the urban properties being developed have the smaller unit sizes, and those require larger and more unique amenity spaces. Also, a solid integration with the neighborhood design, branding, and engagement. We want that feel, that special feel of the neighborhood and the location. We want to work with you and your design team and your architects to make sure that that is fully integrated from the second someone drives up, they walk in, they feel it, it feels great, the vibe is fantastic, and it's what you envisioned all along. And then we definitely saw through COVID an even greater accentuation of a preference for outdoor living and bringing those outdoors in. Optional air. This is just some great pictures of views on demand on the left here, and a sky lounge also on the left. It's just we're really wherever we can. Let's bring that indoor outdoor feel in and open that space. Extensions of homes. So on those Kingsley design surveys, we saw and continue to see tremendous rent growth on the amenity premiums for balconies and patios off of all of these apartment homes. So wherever we can, we recommend as much as we can get on the balconies and patios. And these are just so neat to see. So here on the right, you see an example of a glass-walled pool. Water feature is always welcome. People love water and fire, right, in our communities. But now we're seeing some really unique displays of that. And so that's what we mean by a glass-walled pool. Looks really neat. And then you can see on the left side an oversized hot tub. Outdoor living room. So beautiful spaces, again, where we're able to meet with our family and friends outdoors, really connect outdoors where we can, and having comfortable outdoor spaces with activated spaces. So we're seeing great success with hammock parks, game areas with pickleball, bocce ball, outdoor theater areas. And here's a great example of wood rooftop flooring. So we're seeing definitely unique applications of different types of floors and walls on those rooftop spaces. Rooftops remain one of the most popular amenities if we can find a spot to have something like that. And we're seeing them get more and more jazzed up with unique design finishes. All right, pets. So Utah, when I talked with Ben, I said, what is our average? And it sounds like it's around a little over 40% of our residents have pets. But during COVID, that number increased even more. So there were a lot of pet adoptions during COVID. And so here's an example on the left of an open air dog park. And then on the right, the walk-in dog wash. Gone are the days where a pet wash or a dog park were hidden in the little corner of that garage where there just happened to be a spigot and we could hide it away. No, now these are showcase pieces, and let's do them beautifully. Let's show them off. Pets are our family, and where we have these, they are tremendously popular and help us with leasing and retention. All right, so living spaces. So we're seeing a greater influence of the biophilic design. So on the left, you see an indoor terrarium with water feature, and on the right, a planted centerpiece, really trying to bring the outdoors in. Here's another picture of outdoor inspiration. So again, comfortable spaces, earthy colors, natural nods, continuing to bring the outdoors in with biophilic design. And then mixed materials. We've seen mixed materials for some time, but now those mixed materials just seem to get bolder and bolder. So on the top, you can see a great picture of an example of wood and a stone island mix. And then on the bottom, here's a great mix of stone, leather, and velvet furniture. Here's a great picture of wood and stone together. And then look at that oversized granite island. Who would not love to just gather around there with family and friends? It's just beautiful. Focal point of the apartment home. Here's an example on the top picture of duotoned mixed color texture cabinetry. You can see the uppers are definitely different than the lowers. And then two-toned cabinets and counters on the bottom. Statement artwork. So this is definitely gaining in popularity. If you look at the top picture, it's a sports mural, and the bottom picture is an oversized art mural on that wall. We're really seeing this tremendous influx of, let's bring that story in. We all know that each community has their own vision. Each client has a vision and a story for that. Even where the naming came from, like each one has their own special story. And so in a number of cases, we've been able to commission local artists to come in and bring that incredible vibe to the community and throughout the community. And it's just so fun for our teams to be able to tour prospects around and share that story, and for the residents to be able to share that story and feel that story. So this artwork is becoming more and more popular. And here's an example of some textured walls, kind of continuing on with that theme. Again, very interesting. All right, so if you take a look, I think this is so cool. How fun is this? On the top left, the surf simulation room. I mean, that would be a fun workout right there. And then on the bottom is pictures of ballet bar and climbing walls and CrossFit gyms. So really, fitness has never been, I think more important. We continue to see people wanting great fitness centers and making the most of that fitness center space. Here's a picture of spaced out equipment. So obviously through COVID, I think a number of us saw, we were putting shields up in between equipment. We were doing whatever we could. But, as much as we can, we try to have a great space for this fitness area. Sometimes we don't have the luxury of that great space, and so that's still okay. But it's important that we put some unique equipment for these unique spaces. And some of those items that we're seeing that have gained in popularity are self-powered treadmills, tire flips, ab machines with trampolines, stair climbers, ski simulators, and other great unique things. So again, kind of distancing but together. So on the right, you see a beautiful space where people can gather together, but you also have furniture that maybe you can move around a little bit to have little pods or widen it up for a bigger group. So, and then on the left, you see a great picture of work booths, which have become very, very popular. So again, as apartment home sizes have shrunk a little bit in square footage, people still want to be part of a community, but still need some quiet areas maybe to get their work done. And then we're also still seeing very great popularity in what we call quiet booths. So they look literally just like the old time phone booths. And so they're soundproof. And if you get a call, you don't have to disturb your neighbors. You can just go, quietly get up and go into one of these quiet booths and take your call and have privacy, and then come back out and join your community and continue on with your work. Wellness all around. So wellness is, very important. Everybody's talking about wellness these days, but here's a community that actually has an on-site salon and spa. So how unique is that? And then cold saunas on the left are becoming more and more popular as well. And then here's an example of a couple of unique amenities. So library and speakeasy, and then a record listening lounge. And how fun is this? Here's a music room. And then unrivaled services, our customer service remains our #1 amenity, so we need to make sure that we're always on top with that. But some things that we continue to see are full-time concierge, or even in markets where we haven't seen concierge yet, trying to increase those services or keep our staffing and payroll up so that we can provide those services. Online leasing, VIP programs, local partnerships, healthy vending, and sanitation stations. Home reimagined. So I think we've all heard the term live, work, and play. Now it's also live, work, learn, and play, post-COVID and as we're still dealing with some stuff. So additional soundproofing has remained the #1 priority for our residents, is in highest priority for every region, every product type, every demographic. So, to the extent that we can add or focus on additional soundproofing, it's needed now more than ever. And that goes for our developer clients as well as our renovation clients when we're looking at changing out flooring. Multi-purpose modularity. So on the left, you can see an example of a motor-controlled bed and a closet. So gone are the days where if we have studios that they're kind of clunky, and if you have a bed, there's all this manual stuff. Here we have some automated options that can really make the best use of that space. And well-done studios, as you know, are doing very, very well around the country. And then you can see on the bottom, built-in desks have made a comeback. Believe it or not, we all saw them go away, and now they're coming back with a vengeance with a lot of the hybrid work from home options today. And then here's a picture of a sliding barn door. Those have been popular for a while, but they still remain very popular. Here's an example on the left of a mudroom. Just a great use of space, and our residents really do love these areas. And then on the bottom, kind of doing a little bit more with our closets and building in some closet cubbies. And here's a picture of open-faced cabinetry and open-faced shelving. On the left, this is kind of fun and unique. The light framed mirrors, the residents like those. And then always, having the high-end finishes. So penthouses still remain popular in certain markets and locations. The key is they have to be truly differentiated from the rest of the unit finishes. And so we're seeing high-tech kitchens, the best of the best appliances, really great spaces, oversized washroom and floor-to-ceiling windows. But where we make this differentiation, we definitely are seeing opportunities to really push those rent premiums, and we are obtaining those. All right, let's talk tech. Seamless connections. So, really having a managed Wi-Fi system is the backbone to your smart home and smart building. You want to have a plug and play option for your residents, and it can also be a revenue generator for your property. Technology features including smart thermostats, pre-installed Wi-Fi, Non-key secured access and device charging stations are high or very high priorities on that Kingsley survey I was talking with you about. Smart thermostats, they control the temperature from the wall or a personal phone, and keyless entries using a keypad, resident app, or key card, residents can enter their community and their homes. Digital leasing has, as you know, become more and more popular and became even more prevalent and popular and expected during COVID. In-home tech, so we're seeing the digital stoves, digital appliances. We're seeing programs we'd love to talk with you about regarding utility reduction, leak detection sensors, which we know could be, for sure a lifesaver, and then utility consumption reduction. And then on the left, here's a picture of a built-in drink fridge. And then who wouldn't love this? How cool, a smart fridge, and there's a great wine cellar. All right, let's talk about what is not hot or what is declining in value. So gone are where, we could store our bikes openly. So, people are spending $5,000, $12,000 or more for their bikes, and they definitely want to make sure that they're stored safely. And so they need to be in a private bike locker in a secured area with security cameras for them to even be remotely considered to be used. So important to note there. But there are some very well done bike spaces that we can share with you. And then fitness on demand used to be pretty popular. It's starting to become a little bit less popular. People just kind of feel a little funny doing those and working out with everybody watching them. So it won't really work unless it's in a secluded area. If you have that ability, then they still seem to be working. Fitness mirrors still have not taken off, even though we thought that they might. And then poorly designed golf simulators, they're not doing well. There have been some that were just kind of stuck in a corner to take up some space, and they don't seem to do as well. But if they are done well in an activated space, they seem to do much better. The dog parks that, again, were kind of those afterthoughts that are not maintained well or that have poor drainage, those don't do well. And we're definitely seeing the move towards kind of those pictures that we showed earlier, making them very special and a welcoming place for our pets and our residents. Insufficient package management, we all know the pain of that. So there is not a community, I think, that can build a big enough package area. And so we've been able to partner with Fetch, and Fetch is now available in Utah, and we're seeing some great success with that. So we're seeing some clients be able to take that space that was dedicated prior to packages and maybe turn that into another amenity space now and just move more to a program that can handle those packages. And we can share more information with you on that if you'd like. And then also, as our parking ratios become more and more compressed, we're definitely having to overcome those, but we have some great parking solutions. We've been able to partner with a number of great parking providers and have some great ideas there that can also be revenue generators. And we also have some programs that we can work with you on. But the biggest thing is make sure that we're addressing that as a challenge, because we don't want it impacting our comments and our reviews. And so on that, let me know or let us know if you'd like to schedule a call to discuss any of the things that we've talked about. We have additional revenue and efficiency opportunities as well. Some of them, just a few, are smart building options, the EV parking options. That's becoming more and more important because there's a statistic out there that by 2030, at least 30% of the cars will need these stations, and we certainly don't have enough of those right now to handle that. And it costs 5 times more to retrofit than to just put in the conduit in the beginning. So definitely could talk about that. Package management, we already talked a little bit about Fetch. Would love to talk with you about the managed Wi-Fi, unique storage solutions, and then a little preview for 2023. Project Apex is coming. It's a digitized solution on the Entrado platform, plus some other ideas that Greystar has been working on to always be your partner, take a look at staffing efficiencies, product efficiencies, everything we can do to really push that bottom line as much as we possibly can. So with that, Ben, do we have any questions in the chat?
The most prevalent question I'm seeing pop in is, will this presentation be shared? And that is correct. After this, we will be sharing the presentation deck for everyone.
All right, perfect. So with that then, I want to thank you so much for joining us today. We will have a recording available for anyone who would like it. As Ben said, I'd love to hear from you if you felt like this information was valuable and if you'd like for us to continue these in the future. I'd also love to hear your suggestions for future content. As always, we appreciate our partnership with you very much and have a great rest of your week.
Thank you.